So I'm going to talk today about our bike stop, Mountain View Public Library's bike stop. Basically, we have a fix-it station. I'll talk a little bit more about what that is. We have a lot of programming related to bicycling. We have a rejuvenated collection of bicycling books, as well as some tools that you can, well, we don't have the tools all yet, but we're getting those soon. So we're really stepping up our bike programs this past year, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. So, Wired Magazine actually featured Mountain View, not Mountain View Public Library, but Mountain View, the city of Mountain View, and compared biking in our community to redwood cities. And we beat them. So, no, really what they did is they just kind of ranked the use of the bike share program in each city and compared the use at each of the bike share stops. Is everybody familiar with bike share throughout the Bay Area? Well, basically you just borrow a bike for half an hour, for a day. You pay to be a member and you get to borrow the bike. And so that was one way that they could measure biking in the community. And they made this infographic and kind of tried to just show by the size of the planetoids how much biking was taking place. And if you look, the City Hall, I don't know if you can see that one on the very far left, is pretty big for City Hall, for a city government building, and we have a bike share station there, but it's a real testament to what the city of Mountain View is trying to do with biking in the community. It all actually starts with somewhere else. It doesn't start with the city. It starts here. Google, the rise of Google. I tried to pick the most ominous photo I could. Yeah, right? It's like none of the colorful stuff. But, Google's huge. I mean, Google is enormous, and Google is going through such a big hiring boom. They are impacting our community incredibly. Mountain View is seeing so much expansion in terms of building, in terms of infrastructure issues like traffic, congestion, pollution. Lots of these things are impacting our community, and they actually impacted the local community at Google as well. When they expanded their campus, they really didn't think about how they were going to get employees between buildings on their campus. So what did they do? They had to come up with a great solution, right? Throw tech at it. They could have gotten segways, they could have gotten just teleconferencing, but no, they got Happy Bikes. So has everyone seen a Happy Bike before? Everyone? No? So there are like thousands of these bikes. There's probably like 1,500 actually, but there's tons of these bikes, and most of them stay on campus, and when you go to Google at lunchtime, or if you're near Google at lunchtime, just fleet of these bikes are riding around and driving around. And you can see all the employees just, they grab one, ride it to their cafe or to their next office or their next meeting, and off they go. They leave it there. The next person comes by and picks it up. Occasionally they stray. Occasionally they wander out into the community, and we'll see them at the library on occasion or downtown, at a pub or a bar. Sometimes people call Google Security and they send out a little Google golf cart to pick them up. It's kind of funny, but but what happened was Google said, hey, we need to address this issue of congestion, of infrastructure issues, and biking is a low-tech, easy, and cheap solution. And I think that really encouraged the Mountain View city government, to start thinking about it as a way to accommodate the huge growth we were seeing in our community. So I call it infrastructure and identity issues. I was trying to come up with a good way to describe this, but there's so much traffic now. If you were to try to take any freeway towards Shoreline Boulevard in the morning, you couldn't get there easily during rush hour traffic. And rush hour lasts from like 7:30 a.m. until like 10:30 because Google has such a crazy schedule. Shoreline Boulevard is packed with cars all the way up. It's just wild. I don't know if anyone's tried to go there in the morning, but it's pretty insane. But what's happened too is our community has started to respond in a different way. Our community is saying, God, we used to be kind of a sleepy town. We used to be kind of a town where you could get anywhere, you could walk anywhere, but now there's congestion and there's a lot of safety concerns too. And so people are starting to learn about what they want to do and what they want to improve in their community, and one of those is biking. So what happened was our city council said, hey, biking is easy. Biking is simple. Biking is a non-controversial way to promote our agenda and improve the infrastructure and identity of our community. So they made a goal, a city goal. They have 3 major city goals, and those last 2 years. So they didn't take this lightly, and they made a goal to improve bike access in the community. And they also, they threw about $3.5 million towards infrastructure building projects. They also wanted to update the transportation plan. They did quite a few things. And then Google stepped in and said, hey, we'll give you $350,000 a year for 3 years to improve your biking access in the community. That helps the community, but also helps them as well, because they know people can't get to work. It's really hard. So the one thing that was left off of the goal is the library, because the city assigns these goals to each department and says, oh, you have a piece to play in each of these. Usually a goal like this would go to Public Works, which it did, and there's none of that $3.5 million went to the library. So that's fine. I'm not upset about it much. Whatever. So I just asked PLP for money. So thank you, PLP. We asked for $3,500, and what we thought we'd do is create a little program, a set of programs to improve bicycle safety, bicycle security, and just promote biking and promote the library as a resource in the community for bicycling. We're really lucky because our city manager is an avid bicyclist. He actually does bike to work quite frequently, and he does enjoy biking on his off time. Library director Roseanne Masick also, she rides probably 50 to 100 miles a weekend on her bike. So that was an easy sell for her. And then I have the most awesome staff member ever, and her name is Emily Week, and she's sitting right over here. She's right here. Right here. Raise your hand. See? Okay, so she's so cool, and she's an Uber biker. I don't know if you've had a chance to hear about this, but she lives in Oakland. She bikes to BART, which is no easy feat for her. It's like what? Like a block, 2 blocks, okay. And then she takes BART to Caltrain. No, she takes BART to San Francisco and then rides her bike to Caltrain, and then Caltrain, from the stop in Mountain View, she rides her bike to Mountain View. So, and then she repeats that. So rinse and repeat. And she does that 5 days a week. So she is a trooper. But she has a passion for it, and which is great. And that has really what made this possible, because I'm not big into bicycling. I think it's important for the community. I think it's important for the city. But she's the one who really said, hey, you know what? We can make some of this stuff happen. And I'm about to show you what she did make happen. So we got the grant. We got a Darrow Fix-It station. So this is a Fix-It station that is mounted to the ground outside the library. It's a resource with tools, kind of a bike stand where you can prop your bike up and fix your tire, fix your wheel, fix your pedals. You can see all the tools hanging there. You can see the guy working on it there. There's a pump attached, and the pump has a gauge, so you can tell how much air you're putting in your tire. And the actual valve itself will take both the Presta and the Schrader valves. There's 2 different kinds of valves that are on tires. I didn't know that. God, that's crazy. Why 2? Stupid. So the installation, super easy. So we got this. It was, like I said, it's $1,400, so it shows up. I call our facilities guys, and we set up a meeting, actually. I said, oh, we'll schedule a 30-minute meeting to talk about where it's going to go. And they just said, let's just do it now. And they took it out there. They measured the setbacks on it, and they drilled it in the concrete, and it was installed in less than an hour and ready to go. Within an hour, within an hour, this guy was using it. It's crazy. He just pulled up and was like, oh, there's a pump here, and pumped up his bike. So it's pretty cool. Another cool feature is that it has instructions, so you can. So notice it says hang bike by seat post. It's amazing how hard it is to figure that out. I don't know why. I just people have hung it like their tire on it. I mean, it's just so silly. But so we have other photos to illustrate how to hang it. But there's also a QR code, and this QR code, if you were to scan it, would go to a set of YouTube videos to show you how to fix your bike. So I thought this would be used maybe once a week, a few times a week on the weekends. No, it's used every day. It's used multiple times a day. I mean, there's people camped out at it actually working on their bike for hours on end. It was pretty amazing. So we actually wanted to launch it in all of our programs during National Bike Month, and that's in May every year. We had a set of events, we had a set of displays, and we also had just wanton promotion. So that's some of our little stickers that I'll give out to you if you want some swag today. We got a book collection. We kind of rejuvenated our books with some of the grant money. We were able to get some cool titles that really updated our collection, and they are actually circulating pretty well, so that's great. So Bike to Work Day was our official launch day for our Fix-It Station and all our programs. We invited City Council, so up in the upper right-hand corner, there's the City Council. 3 City Council members actually came out, and the library director, as well as the city manager. Some people from the Silicon Valley Bike Coalition came out, and we invited the Bay Area Bikemobile to come out, and they stopped by and gave us fixed bikes for people as they came by to see what was going on. It's pretty cool. Bike to Work Day is not the best day to launch anything, because everyone's tired, and they rode their bike to work. So not everybody, but. So we launched all our programs that month, quite a few. We did a Bike to Shop Day, which is a community-driven effort, and we partnered with some folks to actually get on their map, where we gave away a free book bag if they came to the reference desk and showed their helmet. That was pretty cool. It also turned out to be the Friends of the Library book sale day, too. So they got a book bag and got to go shop at our friend's book sale. Fancy that. This didn't happen that same month, but we did a lecture on cargo bikes and shopping strategies for, we did a little craft where you take those free book bags, the cheap book bags, and turned it into panniers, basically. The same day as Shop by Bike Day, we also had Kidical Mass that was organized by another person, and so kids were invited to come with their parents and ride over, and so they had a little lecture and talked about what it's like to ride with kids, and then they rode out into the community and went and got lunch and went and got ice cream and just did a little tour to Mountain View with some kids on little tiny bikes. It was super cool. And that little guy was playing with the pump, which is really hard to push down for some reason. So we also want to do skills and safety classes. So Emily coordinated with a group called Big City Bike School. And the teacher for that is a certified instructor. So she's certified to teach bike safety. And so we did a lecture as well as on the road class. And for the on the road class, we fenced off our garage, our parking lot, and actually one of our city council members even came to it, which was pretty cool. So and he had a good time. We had bike security. Mountain View Public Police Department came out and just said, hey, here's how to make your bike theft proof. Yeah, right. So just how to help with making a bike theft proof. We had maintenance repair. That was a big component. And so what we did is we had a lecture, and that was one of our, I would say, probably one of the things we had to learn, that you just can't really lecture about repairing bikes, because everybody's needs are different, and everybody has their own individual questions. And so it can be really challenging to run a class with, I don't know, how many people, 45 people, 40 people? Yeah, quite a few people showed up, and all wanted to know how to fix their own bike with their own specific problem. So the teacher wasn't really dynamic enough to either to kind of coordinate the group, but he is passionate about what he does. So instead, we had him do drop-in sessions every month. And so we pay him $60 to $100 to come out every every month, once a month on, I think the last Friday of the month or the third Friday of the month. And he comes out and he just starts taking signups and starts fixing folks' bikes. And it's pretty awesome. He loves what he does, and he is so good and so patient with folks. He just talks them through the whole thing. It's phenomenal. And then Emily coordinated something called the Bike Fest, which was a big bike party, basically, in our parking lot, which was really great. There were vendors and local partners and community organizations that came out. You can read the list there. I mean, the YMCA came out and brought some extra cycles. There are folks who brought generating electricity with your bikes. Also, to see how much electricity you could generate while you're on the bike. Super cool stuff like that. And I think there was a bike blender, I think, yeah, so that's kind of cool. So makes your drinks, yeah, so you get your margarita while you ride. So, and then Los Altos History Museum actually had a pedal power exhibit, and they were featuring the history of bikes and different kinds of bicycles, and they hosted an event, and they also came out to do like a behind-the-scenes talk about it, and we had quite a few people for that, so it's pretty cool. And then finally, on Saturday, we're going to do Michelle's coordinated with Emily to do a library-to-library bike tour. So it's one of those ways that we can cooperate with other libraries, and I think when we see the whole Bay Area ride, that should be really exciting to see something where we can cooperate on a wider scale. So we had some expected outcomes out of all this. I mean, it was really exciting to see, the community use. We knew that would go up. We knew that people would get excited about the programs, and every program pretty much was booked up. It was pretty much sold out. Increased political capital. The city manager told the library director that we were the only department that actually acted on every single one of the city's goals. Every single one of them. The only department to do that. And that really reflects well on my review at the end of the year. So I hope. So I'm just kidding. So no, it really reflects well on the library. So it's great. And then we also formed a lot of new partnerships and professional relationships. We had some unexpected outcomes as well. So we had some new advocates that came out of the woodwork. We found a woman named Janet LaFleur. She's very active in the biking community. But what she did is she just starts tweeting every single one of our programs or anything that we do related to bikes. And she has such a huge following, they all get retweeted, and we can get a lot more attendance to our programs because of that. It's really great. We have a lot of personal connections. I've met a number of people who live in the community now who come in and just like, oh, I came to the library because I heard you had a bike pump or something like that. It's really great to see those folks. And then they get a card, and it just really pays off really well. And then a weird piece of this is that we really didn't think about how many underserved and underemployed and homeless people actually do ride bikes in our community. And they use this all the time. We have one gentleman. I didn't post a picture. I have a picture of him, but I didn't post it just for his, since I knew this was going to be on video. But his name is Malcolm, and he's a really great guy, really nice guy. And he is very soft-spoken, doesn't say many words. And one time, right after we launched this, he came up to me and said, "Was this your idea?" I was like, "Well, more or less, sure, And he goes, "That's a good idea." Now he tells me every time there's something wrong with the bike fix-it station. So, and he shows up to every single program pretty much. So it's really exciting to see that. And he lives in his car, I know that, but he rides his bike around town. So it's pretty cool. So that's all I have to say about this. We're ready to take questions, I think. I have two hats. So actually, Darrow Fix-It, the Darrow Fix-It Station folks, when I told them I was doing this talk, they said, "Oh, you know what? We'll send you some swag to send out and give out in the audience." So they sent me two little racing hats, and so I'll save this for like the hardest questions we get. How about that? So cool. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.